Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into Key Time Sports. There are four intriguing games that I would like to talk about this week, and this is the start of week 11 of the 2024 college football season. The first game I want to talk about and cover is the Georgia Bulldogs and Ole Miss Rebels. Now, we know that Carson Beck, he hasn't been efficient at times, and the Georgia offense has been stagnant most of the time this season. But here is the stats for Carson Beck and the two quarterback system that the Georgia Bulldogs have. Now, here is the running backs for the Georgia Bulldogs, wide receivers, the kicker, and their defensive players. And they have over 400 solo tackles, to be exact, 463. Now, we see when it comes to their offense, they average 33 points per game. At times, it doesn't look like they are going to crack over 30 points a game. Now, third down offense is 38%. Fourth down offense, 84%. We look at Ole Miss. We look at the Ole Miss offense and the Ole Miss players. Jackson Dart, he's thrown for over 3,000 yards. Also, the two other quarterbacks that have came in for package plays, Austin Simmons and Walker Howard, they've also came in. So here is the running backs for the Ole Miss Rebels, the wide receivers for the Ole Miss Rebels, the kicker, and the defense. Now, they have over 600 solo tackles throughout this season. To be exact, 620 tackles. Now, we see their offense. They average 42 points per game. Offensive efficiency for the Ole Miss Rebels on third down is 44%, which is decent. For fourth down efficiency on offense, 55%, which is one of the best in college football. Now, this game, I'm going to pick the Georgia Bulldogs because I'm very, very skeptical and don't have too much confidence in the Ole Miss Rebels. Now, there's a weakness that Jackson Dart has. If you throw multiple defensive pressure pack plays to him at one time, he doesn't know how to get out of that and go and run the ball for 5, maybe 6 yards or a first down. I believe that the Georgia Bulldogs defense will not key in as much on Jackson Dart because he is not a running quarterback, but they will have a spy on Jackson Dart. For if he may run, he may have to run this game. But I think that Jackson Dart, he is going to have to throw the Ole Miss Rebels to victory because it is hard to run on the Georgia Bulldogs defense for 5 and 6 yard gains consistently when you play the Georgia Bulldogs defense. So I have the Georgia Bulldogs winning this game by a touchdown. The next game I want to cover is the Clemson Tigers and the Virginia Tech Hokies. Now, Cade Klubnik, I had Cade Klubnik read all wrong after week 1. After week 1, playing against the Georgia Bulldogs, he did not look great. And then all of a sudden, ever since week 1, he has been he has been playing decent. I'm going to say that. He hasn't been on a tear. I'm not going to go that far. But he has been more efficient than he was when he played the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, here are the Clemson Tiger players. They have a 3 quarterback system. And the wide receiver, he has thrown Antonio Williams. He's thrown for a couple of plays this seaon. Now, we look at the Clemson Tigers running backs. We look at all of them. Wide receivers, they have had some package plays called for them. Here is their wide receivers. Here is their kicker. And here is their defense. And their defense, as far as solo tackles, when it comes to a defensive lineup, they have over 400 tackles, solo tackles to be exact, 473 solo tackles on the season. Now we look at their offensive statistics. Clemson Tigers, they average 39 points offensively throughout the season. Third down efficiency on offense is 45%. Fourth down efficiency on offense is 69%. So, Clemson, you saw Clemson from a defensive standpoint and an offensive standpoint. Now, here are the Virginia Tech Hokies. Now, they are led by the quarterback, Kyron Drones. Also, they have a two-quarterback system. And one of their wide receivers have thrown a pass, and their punter has thrown a pass. Here are their rushing backs. Here's the top running back for the Virginia Tech Hokies. Here are their running backs. Here are their wide receivers. Here's their kicker. The kicker has been efficient, hasn't missed a kick all season. Here is their defense, and here is their solo tackles. As far as a defensive lineup, they have 629 solo tackles throughout the season. Now, I am going to give you their offensive statistics. The Virginia Tech Hokies, they average 30 points per game, 39% offensive efficiency on third down, offensive efficiency on fourth down, 46%. So they are pretty much decent on fourth down. But where this game is going to come down to is third down play, because this game is going to be close. And I believe that both of these teams, they are going to have to call a few fourth down plays, because these defenses are pretty much average at best. Clemson, they've given up 30 points they've given up 30 points 4 times this season. Virginia Tech, they have given up 30 points also 4 times this season. So this might actually be a shootout. Yes, this might actually be a shootout. But I am going to take the Clemson Tigers in this game, because I believe that the Clemson Tigers have more offensive firepower in this game than the Virginia Tech Hokies. And Cade Klubnik, he is going to have a very efficient day against this defense. So I have the Clemson Tigers winning this game by 10 points. The next game I want to cover is the Indiana Hoosiers and the Michigan Wolverines. Now, Indiana, I haven't talked much about Indiana because I just wanted to see how far that they were going to take this. But I have a historical sports stat that I need to give y'all. Now, the Indiana Hoosiers football program was established in 1887. That has been 137 years. Now, their first 136 years of the Indiana Hoosiers program, they didn't start out 9-0. This year is their 137th. This year is their 137th year as a football program. And this is the first time ever in Indiana Hoosiers football history that they have started out 9-0. The head coach, Curt Gennady, He has got this team believing, and he has got this team like a fine-tuned oil machine. And here's my last statistical stat. Here's my last statistic. The Indiana Hoosiers, they have won all of their games by at least 14 points. So they are not just winning close games, 1, 2, or 3 points here. They are winning convincingly by at least 2 touchdowns or more. And when I look at this team, they are led by Curtis Rook. Also, they have a good running game. They have a good wide receivers. Their top tackler, Aiden Fisher. Their top defensive back, Amari Farrell. He has 4 interceptions on the season. Here is the Hoosiers running backs. Here is the Hoosiers wide receivers. Here's the Hoosiers kicker. And here is the Hoosiers defense. Now, the defense, I got to give them props because they haven't allowed anybody to score 30 points all season. Now, when you look at their solo tackles, they have 592 solo tackles as a defensive lineup. Indiana, they might be a team that can make a push for the college football playoff. But here's their offensive statistics. They average 46 points per game as offense, 50% as far as third down efficiency on offense. Fourth down efficiency, they are 58%. Now, when you look at Indiana, you see what they can do offensively and defensively. Now, you look at the Michigan Wolverines. It has been a revolving door at quarterback all season when it comes to the Michigan Wolverines. Now, currently, they have Davis Warren as their starting quarterback for this game. Also, running back Khalil Mullins. He has had over 700 yards. Here is their running backs, their wide receivers, their kicker, and the defensive lineup for the Michigan Wolverines. And they have 534 solo tackles this season as far as the defense concerned. Now, the offense has been a revolving door at quarterback, so they have not had much consistency. They average 21 points per game on offense. Third down efficiency on offense is 40%, which is one of the worst in college football. Fourth down efficiency is 76%, which is one of the best in college football. So when you look at this matchup, you see where this game could be a blowout, and I think that this game is going to be a blowout in Indiana's favor. Michigan, I've been saying for the last couple of weeks that the Michigan Wolverines are in rebuilding mode after J.J. McCarthy went off to the NFL. Sharon Moore, he has got his work cut out for him. He is going to have to start recruiting right now for the 2025 college football season, because I really don't think that the Michigan Wolverines are going to make it to a bowl game. And do they even win at least one more game on their schedule? I don't think so. But they are not winning versus the Indiana Hoosiers this week. I got the Indiana Hoosiers winning this game by, I'm going to say at least, you know what, to be fair, I am going to say I got them winning this game by at least 2 touchdowns to keep the stat line going of them winning all of their games by at least 2 touchdowns or more. The last game I want to cover is, you already know what game I'm talking about. the Alabama Crimson Tide and the LSU Tigers. Now, this is a game, I'm going to say that this is an elimination game outright. We already know what the Alabama Crimson Tide can do on offense and defense. Now, here is Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe, he has been up and down the last couple of weeks. So, as the Alabama Crimson Tide football team, here's their 2-quarterback system. Here is their running backs led by Jam Miller. Jam Miller, he is going to have a breakout game this game. I expect for him to have over 100 yards in this game rushing. Here are the wide receivers for the Alabama Crimson Tide, led by my man, Ryan Williams. Here is their kicker. Here are their 2 kickers for Alabama. Here is their defense for the Alabama Crimson Tide. The defense has played very well over the past few weeks since that Vanderbilt debacle. Now, the defense has over 500 solo tackles as a defensive lineup. To be exact, 590. We see what the Alabama offense is capable of doing. It's just the fact, can they do it consistently against an offense like the LSU Tigers? But back to Alabama Crimson Tide offense. They average 37 points per game. Third down offense, they are 40%. Fourth down offense, they are 71%. So now we've looked at Alabama Crimson Tide from an offense and defensive standpoint. Now, as far as the LSU Tigers, I am going to say that the LSU Tigers offense is okay with Garrett Nussmeier. And also, here are their top 5 players that lead their defense and offense. Now, I have trepidation when it comes to the LSU Tigers because they haven't been able, in the games that they have won them by close margins. And in the games they have lost, they have led by at least 10 points or more. So I believe that the LSU Tigers are going to lose this game versus the Alabama Crimson Tide because I do not have any confidence in the LSU Tigers defense at all because I'm going to say this, I'm going to rattle off a few games. Against USC early in the season, the first game of the season, LSU had a lead, and what happened? They ended up losing the game. Against South Carolina, LSU had a lead and ended up winning that game because they were lucky because South Carolina ended up making a few miscues that led to LSU points. Now, last week or the week before last, against Texas A&M, they had a lead of 17 points and ended up losing. Brian Kelly, when it comes to you, when it comes to the offensive coordinator, and specifically when it comes to the LSU Tigers defensive coordinator, what do you be telling your players to do when they have these big leads? That is what is going to hurt and deprive the LSU Tigers from getting a college football playoff spot. Because LSU, they have a good offense, they have a skeptical defense. And let me tell you, Brian Kelly, he hasn't had a top-notch defense since his time at Notre Dame back in 2012. And 2012, we all know that in the championship game between Notre Dame and Alabama pretty much beat his ass there. 42-14, and I think Alabama will do the same thing in this game versus the LSU Tigers. Not to the tune of 42-14, but Alabama has the better offense, the better coaching staff, the better defense, the better wide receivers, the better special teams. So I have the Alabama Crimson Tide winning this game by at least 10 points. And the LSU Tigers defense, I have them not being able to neutralize J.M. Miller and Ryan Williams in this game. So I got the Alabama Crimson Tide winning this game by at least 10 points, and the LSU Tigers will be eliminated right after this game from the college football playoff. And with that, those are my predictions and outlook for week 11 of the 2024 college football season. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. And please follow Key City Sports on TikTok. And remember one last thing, the key is always on time.